Hi, my name is Iannielli, and I'm a male to female transgender girl. And I've been doing many videos. I do music videos where I dance and lip sync. I do talking videos. I talk about transgender related issues. I talk about autism. My son's autistic, and I'm a male to female transgender. I've known since the age of 3. I have my good days, I have my bad days. It's not an easy thing when you become uh, uh, when you make the decision in your life to transition. It's one of the hardest things to do. Um, I know because I've lost my job over it. Uh, I lost communication with my sisters on their by them their choice. Uh, my wife and I are having some difficulties in our relationship because of it. I'm alone a lot, isolated. Sometimes I feel like just ending my pain. Uh, I have a son who's autistic who I love and I miss because he goes away to school far away upstate, and it's very difficult for me to deal with emotionally. I've been out of work about 2 years now. I'm receiving disability, and I'm fallen behind on my personal expenses like my mortgage, utilities, trying to keep up and stay positive. And, I'm not in a job position where I'm making a living, so I'm relying totally on my disability income. And it's not easy. And sometimes I get very depressed. I go to my doctors, my therapist. They help me. If I didn't have that, I don't know if I would still be here. I've been in the hospital on many occasions for depression. I've been diagnosed with bipolar disorder, gender dysphoria, suicide ideation. Um, but I try to stay strong, stay focused, and I'm only doing what I feel I need to do. It took me a long time to come to this point in my life. Uh, Transitioning is not easy, and I won't lie to you and tell you that things will work out. And well, because in my case, lost, I've lost my job, like I said. I've lost contact with my sisters by their choice. I lost friends in the process of transitioning. I lost my self confidence, but I have inner strength, and I fight because I know what I'm doing is something that I need to do, and I can't let others affect my own choices and decisions. Yes, my transitioning is a choice. I made the choice to transition. I didn't have to. However, I didn't make the choice to be transgender. That is not a choice. I was born this way. And the thing that really gets me upset is that many people, professionals, just society, seem to think that transgender individuals really don't have rights and shouldn't be treated with respect or dignity. And that really upsets me because it's true that we made a choice to transition. Yes, I agree with that. I could have stayed miserable and lived out my life as a male, totally depressed and dejected and miserable. I could have lived that way. I lived it 50 years. Why not live another 20 or so years more? But I didn't want to suffer anymore. And I knew that I was getting older, and I lost my dad, and I lost my mom years ago, and I lost my dad not too long ago, 5 or 6 years ago. My mom 25 years ago, and then one of my best friends 2 years ago. I lost my dad to suicide. I lost my mom many years ago to severe depression, and then I lost my best friend. He died at the age of 40. So my dad committed suicide, and then one of my best friends died in his sleep, 40 years old, left behind a wife and a baby girl. And when I went to his wake, I was devastated. I was 50 years, well, I was about 49 going on 50. And I freaked out. I became very emotional. I was in tears. I couldn't even go up to approach his body. I did, however, manage to force myself to, and I tried my best to console my friend's wife, uh, and I felt very sad, depressed. And when I left there, I had to start to think about what's going on with my life, and I was wanting to do everything by the proper protocols in my life. I lived a good life. I was working, career oriented, good husband, good father. I wanted to be there always for my family, my wife, my son. And I still maintain those beliefs. And I will always maintain those beliefs. But there definitely was something missing in my life. And I couldn't get away from it. And it was ongoing. It was not like it just happened. It was something that I dealt with for all of my life. And I knew when I was 3 there was something wrong, but I never did anything about it. I was very depressed growing up, even as a young child. But when I went to my friend's wake, it made me realize that life is unpredictable and you just never know. And I just walked away feeling like he died at 40 in his sleep. You know, what's to stop me from possibly dying tomorrow? And it really scared me. And I realized that I needed to get back into therapy. And I had to do something. I had to talk about my feelings, my fears, my anxieties, my depression. And I did some searches on the internet. I was already doing things in regard to exploring my transgender issues. I was on a website for many years, which I still do, but not as often as I did back then. I would say I was part of that website now since around 2007. Transgenders, oh, I'm sorry, crossdressers.com, around 2007, I believe. And that was like very helpful to me. because it gave me the opportunity to express myself and to share my feelings about what it's like to feel depressed, isolated, transgender. Crossdressers.com is not strictly for cross dressers, it's for all aspects of the transgender, transsexual, cross dressing spectrum. And I knew that I cross dressed basically all my life. So that was one of my main motivations for finding that page. But in navigating through that page and the forums, I gravitated more and more towards the transgender and transsexual male to female forums on that site. And I found a lot of helpful and useful information. And that website was instrumental in me finding Callan Ward, where I go now for my medical needs as far as my hormone replacement therapy. I see a doctor at Callan Ward, and she's prescribed me on the estradiol and the spironolactone that I need in my transition from male to female. And I started that uh, on the hormones back in June of 2012. So I'll be 3 years in June 2015. And I find that it's very important to seek the help and support that you need to find what it is that you have to do with regard to your gender identity. You know, gender identity is not just about, you know, what you're born. You know, sure, I was born a male. You know, I have uh, male an anatomy, but I don't identify as a male. But I did live my life as a male, and I did marry, and I am married, and I have a wife who I love, and I have a son who I adore, and I'm proud to be his father, and I'm a husband, a loving husband, and a loving father, uh, and I'm doing everything that I can to adapt to my situation. It's hard because my decision to transition caused a ripple effect in how it affected people, and it drew me away from family, my sisters, some relatives. It drew me away from friends who left me, abandoned me, couldn't understand why I was transitioning. They couldn't understand my gender identity struggle, and they just thought that I was crazy, which is something that I really take exception to. I'm not crazy. I do struggle with depression. I do have bipolar disorder, but I'm not crazy. I do feel the need to express myself, and my gender struggle is something that I can't help. I didn't choose to be this way, but I feel happier when I present myself in a female gender role. I just feel it's more natural to me. I never felt comfortable as a male, though I did do what was expected of me. And I studied hard went to college. I worked as an engineer, a mechanical engineer, and then a CPA, licensed in the state of New York. I still have my license. I have to renew it, but I haven't been active as of January due to my medical struggles. But I have to consider what is best for me. But I'm not able to work right now, and I'm on medical disability for that reason. The depression that I struggle with is very difficult to deal with, and I take medication. I take Depakote and Seroquel, and I was also taking Zoloft, but that was removed from my regimen of medications. And in addition to that, I take, as I said before, estradiol and spironolactone, which is the estrogen, estradiol, and the testosterone blocker, the spironolactone. And I feel happier now as I'm transitioning. I feel like I'm coming to a point in my life where I can actually look in the mirror. And when I look, I feel happy because I see a girl looking back. I know the pain that I went through. I know the inner struggle. And I know the depression that I went through. I know the painful emotions I went through. I know the intense sadness in my heart that I went through. I know the difficulties I had in making friends and pursuing relationships. I had lots of difficulties trying to find a girl. If it wasn't for my therapist, who I was seeing back several years, 4 years after my mother's sad premature death, and went there for my depression and my transgender issues and my dad's issues, his problems, I probably wouldn't have met my wife. So I was fortunate that I did go for therapy, and to the therapist where I did go in Queens, Astoria, because that's actually where I was introduced to my wife to be. The one thing that I couldn't do was I couldn't tell her that I was transgender. I was afraid to tell her. And I spoke to my therapist about that, and I really didn't know how to handle that. But I was very insecure, very shy, and I didn't have many relationships, so I didn't want to lose that. So I kind of left it at that, kept it a secret. But that wasn't new because I kept my transgender struggles a secret to everybody, my family included, my mom, my dad, my sisters. When I came out at age 51, that's when basically I told everybody. I told my family. I told my wife and my son first, and it was difficult, especially with regard to my discussion with my son, and it was hard with my wife as well. Then my sisters and friends, and obviously my employer, former employer, and it was difficult. Am I sad that I encountered all of these obstacles? Yeah, I'm sad, but I'm not gonna change how I am and how I feel about myself. My transition is important, and I need to find my happiness too. And I need to be there for my family, my wife, and my son. This is Emily. Bye.